Namaskar, friends. Today we will talk about the concept of cosmic non interference and why do we feel that sometimes bad things happen to good people. So, first we have to understand this distinction of good and bad, good and evil. That is mostly a game of Sagun Brahman, in which you impose qualities to the universe that you create. Now, once there have been qualities created in the universe, then at that point, the question arises whether those qualities will be the ones that will follow the path of instant self gratification and quick satisfaction, or they will be following the path of long term delayed gratification and peace. So it's always a fight between pleasure and peace. The more you chase pleasure, the more evil you become short term, and the more you pursue peace, the more good, great you become long term. So that is how the Sagun Brahman splits itself. There's per se in Ramana Maharishi's world, who is suffering? There is no suffering. You are creating your own suffering by chasing the short term gratifications. Now, the punishments or equilibrium that is established is what karma does. And karma bandhan is basically carrying the baggage of past karmas to get some sort of uh, divine intervention, divine equilibrium creation that we are disturbing by acting in certain ways, by pursuing the path of pleasure, short term gratification. So the question is, when we say something good, good people who are pious, who are engaging in yagya, dan, and tap, the activities of charity, the activities of sacrifice and austerity, which are self cleansing, which are cleansing the mind, because the whole purpose is to cleanse the mind so it is free from the dirt, and then it can become like a mirror where you can see the reflection of the soul and you can self identify and self realize. Once the mirror is not clean, once the mind is not cleansed, it is always engaging with objects of sensual gratification, because mind is the master of the senses, and hence, like kids and the parent has to take care of the kids, the mind has to take care of the senses. So once we have ananya cheta, ananya bhakti, total adhyatam or devotion, unperturbed, unfractionated devotion towards God, then the mind becomes cleansed for reunion with God. Otherwise, it will remain dropped in this universe and keep strewn in objects of sensual gratification or desires, as we call it. So, the reason why something sad or heartbreaking can happen to a good person is mostly because of their past karmas. And once their current situation improves, once their spiritual practices improve, once their divinity improves over time, then you will see slowly karma to dissolve away. And hence, whatever was the sanchit karma will be slowly dispensed away, will be annihilated. So you won't be facing the consequences of the sanchit karma. The prarabdha, of course, what has been set to be thrown towards you, because that has already been set in the cycle of the universe, will have to be born, will have to be, the suffering will have to be undergone, whether it is a realized saint or it is a common man. The prarabdha will always have to be faced, and that is why you will see those things happen to people who are in the path of realization as well, where they might suffer, where they might have to endure calamities of the body, jan mrityu jara vyadhi. All of us have to undergo, because that is in a way written in the prarabdha of the universe. So you cannot undo janma, birth, mrityu, death, jara, old age, or vyadhi, disease. So when the cosmic non-interference concept comes from the idea that the universe, Sagun Brahman, has been created and there is someone on top of it. You can think it of as Shiva, the destroyer. You can think of it as Allah, the unmanifest, supreme. You can give any name to it, but basically below that comes the level of Devas, Now, these are people like ministers of state. You have the prime minister, cabinet ministers, and ministers of state. So these are the lower portfolios, but they have ability to practice independently in the sense that most of the times, prime minister is not telling the cabinet minister or the minister of state how to run his portfolio, how to run his department. So when we say we have 33 crore, 33 crore Devi Devta, we are referring to the components of Sagun Brahmin that are individually managed by them. If it's Saraswati, it is intelligence. If it is Lakshmi, it is monetary wealth. If it is Hanuman, it is Vigna, obstruction. If it is Ganesh, it is prosperity. So you see how it has been subdivided into different portfolios that are being managed by these components of the Sagun Brahman. Now, on top of all that, control is, of course, there's Vishnu or Krishna, which will sustain the Sagun Brahmin. And of course, when some interventions need to be done, then comes Shiva, which will neutralize, mute, destroy certain portions so that you can quickly establish equilibrium. Whereas in the path of Vishnu, there will be slow, gradual conversion. In the path of Shiva, there will be rapid annihilation, destruction. So there are two different paths of restoring the equilibrium, because wherever there is Srishti or Srijan, formation, creation, there has to be destruction. That is the only way to unfold the Sagun Brahmin back into the Nirgun Brahman, from which it emanated. From the unmanifest, the manifest is emanating. So, usually, Shiva or Vishnu, they are not meddling with the portfolios of the other Devi Devtas. However, under exigent circumstances, as in the case of Nachiketa, when Lord Yama comes to take the life of it, Shiva comes to save him. That no, here we'll make an exception. So we have to understand, God himself says that in Gita, in Shlok 7:23, Antvattu phalam teshan tad bhavati alpamershan devan devjo janti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. Antvattu phalam teshan, the phal or the fruits of worshipping the Devi Devtas is perishable, because the Devi Devtas, because they live in Devlok. We talked about the 7 loka structure where the lokas themselves are destroyed. So the Devi Devtas are also dying. Brahma is also dying. What does not die is Vishnu, what does not die is Shiva. Now, there will be some argument that even they die when cosmic Mahashiv and Paramshiv concept. But basically the idea is that creation is destroyed. So the portfolios that are allocated to these different subdivisions of the Sagun Brahman creation, you can say material prosperity, intelligence, monetary wealth, luck, all those things will be destroyed at the end. So Antvattu phalam teshan tad bhavati alpamershan devan devyo janti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. Krishna is saying to Arjun in verse 7:23 that those who worship gods, they get perishable results. They get results which are prone to ending. They are not permanent. They are not eternal. So that is why when you worship the God, you attain the qualities of God. Neat kit Brahmari. When you worship too much of Hanuman, you start looking like Hanuman. You start acting like Hanuman. You start imparting yourself qualities of Hanuman, and then you will merge into Hanuman. So that is why whatever God you worship, those qualities will slowly get imbibed in you, and those qualities will slowly pick you up, which is better than Prithvi Lok. Don't get me wrong. Any realm that you go higher is better than Prithvi Lok. Prithvi Lok just offers you the unique ability to rapidly burn your karmas, rapidly make a movement up or down. Other places, because they are, as you go from Earth, which is the heaviest metal, heaviest planet, to the lighter planet, Bhulok, Bhuarlok, Brahmalok, as you go up slowly upwards, the planets become lighter. So the karma qualities are also, the magnitude is lighter, and hence it takes longer to burn the karma. Immediate results happen on Earth. That is why it is the planet of rapid karma creation and destruction. So when you worship from this planet, Earth, humans, when you worship the Devi Devta, 33 crore Devi Devta, you're going to the Swarglok, because that's where they are living. They are as good as you can get towards pursuit of pleasure that you can. I told you before, short term pleasure, Long term, peace. Always pursue peace, not pleasure. But what if you have the intent to improve and go upwards, but you want to pursue pleasure? That quality can be provided by Devi Devtas. They will help you attain certain desires. So when the desires are subsiding, now your mind is free to focus on Krishna. It is free to focus on Brahman. It is free to focus on whoever you want to pursue as the ultimate goal of the spirit, which is the Atman, to merge with the Parmatma. So that gives you the freedom, because now you're desire free, hankering free. That is the role of the Devi Devtas, very important roles. But if you make the Devi Devta your main role of your life, then every time you will hit the Devi Devta lok, when your good karmas are exhausted, you will fall back to the earth. And that is why you will see this cycle of gata gatam, going back and forth will continue, depending on your desires. Your desires will shape your destiny. Your desires will determine what loka you go to after death. You pursue Devi Devtas, you'll go to the loka of Devi Devtas. Antvattu phalam teshan tad bhavati alpameshan devan devajanti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. The people who worship the Devi Devtas go to the loka of Devi Devtas. But those who worship me come to my loka. And he also talks about Traya Vidya Mam Swampa Put Papa Yagashta Swagatim Prathete Punyamasad Surun Makshanti Divyan Devi Devan Tetam Bhuktva Swargokam Vishanam Shine Punya Martulokam Vishanti Tetam Bhuktva Swarglokam Vishalam Swarglok, where gods live. Tetam Bhuktva, after bhoga, after living the pleasures. Tetam Bhuktva Swarglokam Vishalam Shine Punya, when their good deeds are exhausted. Shine Punya Martelokam Vishanti Gatatam Kam Kamala Bante. After exhaustion of their good deeds, blessings, all the bhogas, bhoglok of the Swarg, they come back to earth. They fall. Shine punya martilokam vishanti. Exhaustion, shine, punya, blessings, martilok, that is prithvilok, vishanti, they fall back. So the souls that don't attain Krishna, they don't attain the ultimate Brahmalok, any of the loks, Brahma Bhuvan Loka Punaravartana Mam Pitu Kante Punarjamna Vidyate, any lok from Prithvi to Brahmalok. I have talked about those 7 lokas, please see that video. Depending on your qualities that you pursue, you might become semi-autonomous, you might become semi-liberated, but you will not become totally liberated. And the more body you have, the more death you experience. That is why in the higher loks, I talk about the Jan lok, Satya lok, Tap lok, those higher loks where the rishis live, or the Sanak Sanatan, the Sanak brothers live, Sanak Sanatan, Sananandan. They don't die because they don't have a mortal coil, and they are semi-liberated beings. They can go back and forth. Interstellar, interplanetary movements can happen because they are so liberated, they are so light. We cannot, because we have a very heavy mortal coil and a lot of karma to burn, and we have been granted the capability to burn that karma very rapidly, so we can purify our mind and focus and submerge towards that. But remember that when they created the structure of Sagun Brahman, in which different attributes were given to different controllers, the controllers were called gods, and they help us overcome our day-to-day vignas. Hanuman does amazing job in terms of getting rid of your vignas. That's why Hanuman Chalisa is so powerful, because he's living so close to you on earth, whereas the Devi Devtas are living a little farther away. The farther you are, the farther the landline that you have to call, the stronger you have to yell, the better the connection needs to be. So when you're not an evolved being, you will be helped the most by worshipping who's close to you. You are not going to be helped by the Prime Minister on a day-to-day basis. You might be helped by your MLA, your MP, or your mayor. You might be helped by your father. You might be helped by someone in your home. See, the farther the person is, even if they are powerful, they're not able to help you. Day-to-day help will come from individuals who are in proximity, because that's the way the gravitational force will work on Prithvi, on Earth. That is the way you will attract. Planets attract each other. No planet repels each other. That's why the other planet powerful people will help you when you are close to you. And you have to become more powerful over time, because the more powerful you become, the longer distance connections you can apply. And then you can dial Shiva, you can dial Krishna, and they will help you out. Like Nachiketa, like Markandeya was helped by Shiva. Like Nachiketa is able to hold conversation with Yama. The more powerful you become with your spiritual practices, the higher planets that you can dial. Remember, those planets are not your home, but those planets are way that leads you to the higher and higher loka until you surpass even Brahman lok to go to the Vacuum lok. Brahma Bhuvan loka punah artin arjun mam pitu kante punarjanam vidyate. So those two shlokas, you see how good they are. Till the Brahman lok, everybody who goes up higher will fall back, because they haven't completed the cycle of liberation. And the second thing is, those who worship the gods go to the planet of the gods. Those who worship the Pitri go to the land of the Pitri. Those, wherever your desires, that's your destination. So antvattu phalam teshan tad bhavati alpameshan devan devyanti ma bhakta yanti mamapi. Those who worship the Devi Devtas will go to the land of Devi Devtas. What will they do there? They will enjoy their pleasures. Tetam bhuktva swarg lokam vishalam shine punya marta lokam vishanti. After exhausting their bhogas, their good karmas, their blessings, they fall back to the earth. And Shine Punya Matlo Evam Traigam Kam Kama Gatagadan Labhante. Their coming and going Gatagatam keeps happening again and again. And that is why there's only so much improvement that you can make with this cycle. Otherwise, you're trapped in the cycle of going to the Devlok, coming back to the Prithvi Lok, crossing the Bhuvar Lok, and in the first three planets, Bhulok, Bhuvar Lok, Swarg Lok, this small cycle you keep traversing again and again. But the hope is that one day you will break the cycle and go beyond it. And that is why what Krishna has subtly tried to do that in this shloka is that he has told you that the consequences of your actions will be determined by the intent of your intentions. So the consequence of action determines on intentions. If you have strong intentions, then you're not going to pursue your desires. Then you're going to go towards your intentions, sankalpa. You're going to go towards the higher realms. And that is why you will surpass all these lower lokas and be in a state of peace. And hence things will not matter to you. Then Maya will not be trying to intrude your day-to-day life and make your life miserable. So my friends, just remember that Antvattu phalam teshan tad bhavati altmeshan devan devyanti ma bhakta yanti mahapi. Who worship me, come to me. Who worship the Devas, go to Devas. Who go to Devas, experience the pleasure, fall back on earth. Shinemute martiloke vishanti. And those who go to Brahmalok, they also come back. Brahma bhuvan loka punarvartin arjun. Ma upetu kante punarjana vidyate. Ma upetitu kante. Attaining me kante, Krishna, Arjun. Punarjam na vidyate. Punarjam in the sense of being born back on earth will not happen. And that is why when the born back on earth will not happen, Jam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, the birth, death, old age and disease, the four inherent prarabdhas in the Sagun Brahman ingrained on the land of Prithvi will not happen. So you will not be suffering. Otherwise, whoever in those four realms will have to suffer. All the beings like you and me who come back here again and again, and then the memory is erased so that we can start again. And maybe this time we will attain what we could not attain, or keep working on our path to go beyond the Devas, go beyond the Rishi Loks, the Satya Brahma Lok, and then we can merge into the Brahman, the totality. At which point you are liberated, at which point you become an avatar, you become an avdut, and at that point you follow the descendant pathway in which you can come and go freely. You are not going to be trapped by where you're going. We all are working our way into the ascendant pathway where you go from Prithvi to Bhuvar to Swarglok, and then you go up Jan, Tap, Meher and to the Satyalok. But before that, we complete the pathway, we'll keep falling again and again. And that is why it's very important to shun the desires, shun the short-term gratification, shun the pleasure-seeking tendencies by utilizing gunas, because gunas are the sticky influencing associations. By doing yagya, dan and tap, by doing dhyan yoga, karmi yoga, by doing bhakti yoga, because these are the guna associated tendencies that will help to break the mesh of desires that is entangling us in the lower loks and keeping us down. And worship the Devas definitely, but also worship in the realm of dhyan yoga, that I do not want any of these material desires. I want the vignas to be destroyed by Hanuman, so I can ascend forward, and the Hanuman worshipper becomes the Shiva worshippers. Otherwise, Shiva is not going to listen to you on a day-to-day basis. We don't have the power to reach him that far, so we have to start with someone, the Ansh avatar of Shiva, which is Hanuman. And hence I have always encouraged you guys to start worshipping with Hanuman and work your way up if you can. Otherwise, if your destiny is to be with Hanuman, it's great. Keep working and believe in the cosmic structure that has been arranged for you, and everybody has an arrangement to be ascending and get liberated. Jai Shri Ram.